Something surprising happened behind the cameras of Maxton Hall Season 2, something the show never showed you. The cast laughed more than they acted, scenes broke down for the funniest reasons, and Damian Hardung revealed a side of himself fans rarely see. This is the story of the moments that were never meant to be seen. Until now. From the outside, Maxton Hall Season 2 looks polished, dramatic, and perfect. Every scene is sharp, every emotion feels real, and every moment with the characters seems carefully crafted. But behind the scenes, things were very different. The set was a mix of long shooting days, sudden laughter that ruined takes, and unexpected mistakes that turned serious scenes into pure comedy. Sometimes, everything went right. But most of the time, something funny happened that made the cast and crew stop and laugh. In the middle of an intense moment, when the cameras stopped rolling, the actors dropped their characters and became their real selves. Damian Hardung, who plays James Beaufort, often broke the tension with a joke or a playful comment that made everyone relax. During emotional scenes, he sometimes tried so hard to stay serious that he ended up laughing first, making the rest of the cast laugh with him. Even the camera crew couldn't help smiling while trying to stay quiet behind the lens. There were also moments when small things caused huge delays. A prop falling at the wrong time, a light flickering during a dramatic line, a background extra walking into the frame by accident. These tiny mistakes turned into unforgettable memories for the cast. Instead of getting annoyed, they treated every problem as a chance to reset, breathe, and enjoy the process of making the show. Between takes, the actors talked, joked, and shared snacks like old friends. They created a warm, comfortable space that made the hard work easier. The set felt more like a family gathering than a strict workplace. And these hidden moments are what shaped the heart of Season 2 moments, full of real smiles, real laughter, and real bonds that the audience never gets to see, the world behind. Maxton Hall Season 2 is nothing like the polished scenes fans see on screen. When you step behind the camera, everything suddenly feels alive in a different way. The set is buzzing from the moment the lights turn on. Crew members move with quiet speed, adjusting frames, fixing props, checking scripts, and preparing every tiny detail that helps build the world of the series. Before a single actor steps into the scene, dozens of people have already shaped the moment you're about to watch. The filming locations themselves tell their own story. Some days start in large, echoing halls where sound bounces off the walls. Other days begin in small rooms packed with lights, cables, monitors, and equipment that barely leaves space for actors to breathe. The set doesn't feel glamorous. It feels real busy, warm, and full of energy. You can hear soft whispers from the makeup team, the click of camera lenses, the rustle of script pages, and the distant hum of machines cooling the lights. It's a world held together by teamwork. Wardrobe racks line the walls, filled with outfits perfectly styled for each character. Ruby's soft colors, James's sharp contrasts, every piece of clothing is arranged like a puzzle that shapes the story. Makeup artists work carefully, adding tiny touches that the audience might never notice, but that bring each character to life. Nothing is random. Every choice has a purpose, before a scene starts. The director walks through the room with calm focus, giving notes that guide the actors into the emotional space they need. Sometimes the instructions are intense. Other times they're whispered like secrets meant to spark a certain feeling. And all around, the crew quietly prepares, ready to transform an empty room into a chapter of the story. Yet even with all this planning, filming never feels rigid. There's a natural flow, a rhythm created by the people working together. When everyone takes their place and the slate claps, the set becomes silent waiting. Then, in a single breath, the world of Maxton Hall comes alive again. Built from teamwork, creativity, and the shared goal of telling a story the audience will never forget. When the cameras start rolling, Damian Hardung transforms into James Beaufort the Confident. Sharp-tongued, troubled boy fans can't look away from. But behind the scenes, Damian is nothing like the cold, polished figure he plays. The real Damian is relaxed, playful, and sometimes the biggest source of laughter on set. Watching him shift between these two sides feels like watching someone step in and out of a different world before each scene. Damian has a small routine. He reads his lines quietly, not in a dramatic way, but almost like someone humming a familiar song. Sometimes he paces around the room. Sometimes he leans against a wall with his eyes closed, letting the emotion settle. But the moment someone cracks a small joke or even drops a prop, his serious expression melts. And he bursts into the kind of smile that instantly changes the entire mood of the room. What makes Damian stand out is how he treats everyone the same. He doesn't act like the lead of a major series. He treats the makeup team with the same respect he gives the director. He laughs with the lighting crew, jokes with sound engineers, and always takes a moment to thank the people adjusting his wardrobe or fixing his mic. His warmth has a way of pulling everyone closer. During intense scenes, you'd expect him to stay locked into character. But those were often the moments he ended up breaking first. A dramatic stare would turn into a smirk. A romantic line would end with a laugh because he mispronounced a word. Sometimes he tried so hard to stay serious that the effort itself made the crew laugh behind the monitors. Even the director had to pause a few times just to let the room settle. What fans never see is how much work Damian puts into making James feel human. Between takes, he asks questions about motivation, tone, and emotion, not in a formal way, but in a curious, thoughtful one. He tries different angles, explores different reactions, and pushes himself to show the layers behind James's cold exterior. That balance between dedication and lighthearted energy is what makes him so magnetic on screen. And when the scene finally clicks, when everything aligns and James Beaufort appears with all his intensity, you can almost feel the shift. The playful energy disappears, replaced by a character who holds the room with silence alone. It's in that transformation, instant, precise, and powerful, that you see why Damian is at the heart of Maxton Hall. On screen, Ruby and James pull you into a world of tension, love, and deep emotions. But behind the scenes, their chemistry has nothing to do with drama. Instead, it comes from moments that are soft, natural, and unexpectedly funny. Harriet Herbig-Matthes and Damian Hardung share a rhythm that feels effortless, one built on trust, laughter, and the kind of comfort that only grows after long days of working side by side before filming their scenes. The two often stand quietly together, reading lines in low voices, almost like they're tuning their energy to match. Sometimes they rehearse with full focus, moving through the scene with slow, careful steps. Other times, they start laughing before they even begin because one of them mispronounces a word or remembers a previous blooper. Their bond feels like a warm space inside a busy set, a place where they build the emotions that later explode on screen. One of the most charming things about their working style is how they help each other. If Harriet loses track of a line, Damian steps in with a gentle reminder. If Damian stumbles over a sentence, Harriet teases him just enough to make him laugh and reset. They share looks that feel like tiny conversations, no words needed, just understanding. This quiet connection shapes the chemistry fans adore. During romantic scenes, the set becomes surprisingly loud behind the camera. Crew members shuffle around, props squeak, microphones buzz. Yet somehow, Harriet and Damian find a way to create a bubble between them. They breathe in sync, they lock into character, and the world around them fades. But the moment the director calls cut, the magic shifts into something completely different, usually laughter. Sometimes the kiss scene ends with them bumping noses. Sometimes their emotional eye contact is broken by someone's stomach growling after a long day of filming. Those tiny imperfections make the moments even sweeter. There were also days when the emotions were heavy and the scenes demanded silence. On those days, Harriet and Damian supported each other in a quiet, steady way. A hand on the shoulder, a small nod, a whispered, "You got this." They respected each other's emotional space, creating a safe place for vulnerability. Their bond isn't loud. It isn't forced. It's a soft, steady rhythm that holds the heart of the show together. And the truth is simple. Without this behind-the-scenes warmth, the on-screen love story wouldn't shine the same way. The magic of Maxton Hall Season 2 didn't grow only from the script or the scenes, it grew from the friendships that formed when the cameras weren't rolling. Every day on set felt like a small world where everyone knew each other's habits, jokes, and moods. What the audience sees as a polished drama is actually built on quiet moments of laughter, shared snacks, and late-night talks between cast members who slowly became a family in the early mornings. When the set was still waking up, the cast would gather around the coffee table, half asleep but smiling. Someone always cracked the first joke of the day, and it usually wasn't planned. Sometimes it was Damian, sometimes Harriet, sometimes another cast member wandering in with messy hair and a blanket around their shoulders.